Tim Walz, who you might know as the governor of Minnesota, has dropped out of the race for re-election as the governor of Minnesota because of that ass chud YouTuber and his fake video on how every Somali in Minnesota is stealing money and not taking care of kids or whatever. I'm not joking. He actually got bullied out of the race. I am unbelievably disappointed in Tim Walz on this.
Big breaking political news out of Minnesota. Governor Tim Walz, who of course was the Democratic nominee for vice president in 2024, has ended his re-election bid for governor. He is not going to run for re-election. This comes as pressure has been growing around this widening welfare fraud scandal. Now, Walz has not been accused of any wrongdoing, but it has been a growing political headache. Let's get right to CNN Chief National Affairs Correspondent Jeff Zeleny. This is a wow this morning, or at least would have been if you had said it was going to happen, 2 or 3 months ago.
That's right, John. Good morning. Even perhaps 2 or 3 weeks ago, the reality is Minnesota Governor Tim Walz had been insistent on running for a third term, which would have been unprecedented in and of itself. Minnesota has not elected a governor for 3 consecutive terms, but it is that deepening federal probe as well as this widening scandal. As you said, he is
There is not a deepening federal probe, and there is not a rising scandal. The video that this is all based on is fake. It is a lie video. It is a video of lies. Look at this, the chud who made the video, Nick Shirley, this guy, the guy whose job is to lie, like state propagandist. I ended Tim Walz. 400,000 likes on this one, by the way. Like a YouTuber took down Tim Walz's gubernatorial campaign, which I think is just disgusting. And you're ceding so much power to these people when you do this, you know? You are giving them so much goddamn power. Just any fake drama video can take down an entire campaign. It's appeasement. It feels like appeasement, especially because we all know the attention span of the right is incredibly small. There were no consequences for, I don't know, the Haitian immigrants in Ohio, because that was all made up too. Imagine if we just kept giving them wins every time their 2-week attention span turns towards something new. Now they're going to have this win under their belt forever. Now they're just going to use this as a reinforcement of their claim. Oh yeah, the scandal's so bad that corrupt Tim Walz had to drop out. The next goddamn Hitler. Here's him posting a video from a gas station in Miami. Wait a minute, the mainstream media lied to us again? The people of Venezuela actually didn't like being ruled by a narco-terrorist? World Cup-style celebrations are erupting all across Venezuela at the moment. Congratulations to the people of Venezuela. Que Dios te bendiga. Wonderful. Community notes. This is a gas station in Miami, Florida. God, I really can't stand him. Yeah, I mean, he's just a state propagandist, right? He's been getting boosted from every single right-wing source, which, you know, again, would be lovely if the left wing was capable of doing this, or like the Democrats or whatever, but, you know, that's not the world we live in. Here's the statement from Governor Walz. Happy New Year, Minnesotans. I was glad to turn the page on 2025. It was an extraordinarily difficult year for our state, and it ended on a particularly sour note. For the last several years, an organized group of criminals have sought to take advantage of our state's generosity. And even as we make progress in the fight against the fraudsters, we now see an organized group of political actors seeking to take advantage of the crisis. I won't mince words here. Trump and his allies in Washington and St. Paul and online want to make our state a colder, meaner place. They want to poison our people against each other by attacking our neighbors. And ultimately, they want to take away much of what makes Minnesota the best place in America to raise a family. They've already begun by taking our tax dollars that were meant to help families afford childcare, and they have no intention of stopping there. Oh yeah, as a consequence of this, Trump froze childcare federal payments, or like daycare subsidies, to every state. So, you know, make no mistake, we should be concerned about fraud in our state government. We cannot effectively deliver programs and services if we can't earn the public's trust. That's why over the past few years, we made systemic changes to the way we do business. We've gone to the legislature time and time again to get more tools to combat fraud. We've fired people who weren't doing their jobs. We've seen people go to jail for stealing from our state. We've cut off whole streams of funding. In partnership with the federal government, where we saw widespread criminal activity. We put new locks on the doors of our remaining programs. We've hired a new head of program integrity. Again, keep in mind, the YouTube video is fake. The broader conspiracy that is being referred to here has been known for years and was prosecuted by Biden's DOJ. There is no reason to concede on this point. All across the state, Minnesotans are hard at work on this program. Advocates, administrators, investigators are on the front line defending the integrity of the state's programs, and I want to thank them for these efforts. There's more to do. A single taxpayer dollar on fraud is a dollar too much to tolerate. This is bullshit. There is no program on earth for anyone, to anyone, no matter how you build it, no matter how you structure it, that will not, on some level, have waste due to fraud. It is impossible. If you believe $1 wasted to fraud is too much and that invalidates the program, then you don't believe in programs as a concept. You don't believe in anything. You don't believe in the government. You don't believe in corporations. You don't believe in any institution. You don't believe in individuals because there's money lost to graft on those two. I hate this concession towards their framing where you run programs all across this country that help hundreds of millions of people, and all the right has to do is unturn rocks and not even find evidence, make up evidence of a single dollar being misappropriated, and now all of a sudden this legitimizes a broader attack on everything that makes life possible, you know? But the little political gamesmanship we're seeing from Republicans is only making that fight harder to win. We've got Republicans here in the legislature playing hide and seek with whistleblowers. We've got conspiracy theorist right-wing YouTubers breaking into daycare centers and demanding access to our children. We've got the president of the United States demonizing our Somali neighbors and wrongly confiscating childcare funding that Minnesotans rely on. It's disgusting and dangerous, but you're conceding to it. We welcome the involvement of the federal government. I'm grateful to the career professionals at the U.S. Attorney's Office and the FBI who are helping us win this fight. But I cannot abide the actions of the political leadership in Washington, these opportunists who are willing to hurt people to score a few cheap points. They and their allies have no intention of helping us solve the problem and every intention of profiting off it. Which brings me to this. 2026 is an election year. And election years have a way of ramping up the politics at a time when we simply can't afford more politics. In September, I announced I would run for a historic third term as Minnesota's governor, and I have every confidence that if I gave my all, I would succeed in that effort. But as I reflected on this moment with my family and my team over the holidays, I came to the conclusion that I can't give a political campaign my all. Every minute I spend defending my own political interests would be a minute I can't spend defending the people of Minnesota against the criminals who prey on our generosity and the cynics who prey on our differences. So I've decided to step out of the race and let others worry about the election while I focus on my work. I know this may come as a surprise, but I'm passing on the race with zero sadness and zero regrets. After all, I didn't run for this job so I could have this job. I ran for this job so I could do this job. So on and so on. It's hard for me to be too mad at him because he's under a lot of pressure, and his family probably is too. But like, man, you're handing them such a win. Such a massive, massive win. The plan seems to be to run Klobuchar. Klobuchar considers win. Yeah, but I don't like Klobuchar. He's a lot worse than Walz. I get why he doesn't want that to continue. Yeah, but like, we're fighting for the future of the country here. Why doesn't he film them back? Why doesn't he have a press conference every day talking about the crimes of the right wing, like stochastic terrorists in Minnesota? This is what I mean. Like, that for Republicans, nothing is off the table. You can do anything that you want. And for Democrats, it's like there's this line past which they refuse to move, even though they're getting the worst possible treatment despite not moving to that line. That's what I mean. Like, why not have like a PR team with you? Why not like ruthlessly work on this? Unfortunately, as much as I like Tim Walz as a person, and he does seem like a really good person, like just like interpersonally, you know, he does not have the sauce to really carry that fight, right? He is still like a classic Democrat. He will not instigate fights within the Democratic Party. He will not like move the needle. He is too nice. He's too nice. It's kind of like a lesser version of the problem that Bernie Sanders has, right? Though Bernie Sanders is obviously to Tim Walz's left. He must be afraid for his family? Yeah, probably. That wouldn't surprise me. I have no idea how well Klobuchar would do in the governor's race, though it wouldn't surprise me if she did quite well. I think she's relatively popular.
Implicated in this at all. This is actually somewhat old news in Minnesota. This has been going on for years and years. The prosecution started back during the Biden administration, but over the holidays, it certainly did widen. There was a right-wing influencer who posted a viral video on social media that quite literally went viral when the vice president of the United States and the FBI director leaned in on this, and it shined a brighter spotlight on really what had been some deep concerns among Minnesota Democrats, even about the wisdom of Governor Walz seeking a third term. They believe that this would hang over the entire reelection effort and perhaps even damage the Democratic Party, even though there is no suggestion that there was wrongdoing. However, this widening scandal happened on his watch, but we are getting his reasoning.
It's not a widening scandal. It's not. It's not. A disinfo campaign is not a scandal. A scandal implies actual wrongdoing. There has to be actual wrongdoing for it to be a scandal.
In a news statement this morning that's ahead of a news conference he's scheduled to hold in just a few hours. And let's take a look at one small portion of this, if we can, John. The governor writes this. He said, "As I reflected on this moment with my family and my team over the holidays, I came to the conclusion that I can't give a political campaign my all. Every minute I spent defending my own political interests would be a minute I can't spend defending the people of Minnesota against the criminals who prey on our generosity and the cynics who prey on our differences. And the governor goes on in quite a lengthy statement, which we expect him to read at that news conference, which is going to be happening at 11 a.m. in St. Paul, Minnesota. He goes on to take direct aim at President Donald Trump and allies of the president and Republican allies who have sought to make political hay out of this, if you will. Of course, they have a lot of this fraud is coming from some leaders of the Somali population in Minneapolis and Minnesota.
Yeah, I guess we can watch the news conference. I didn't realize it was so short. Is it just him
reading?
Several
years, an organized group of criminals have sought to take advantage of this state's
Why does this begin in the middle of the
generosity? And even as we make progress in the fight against the fraudsters, we now see, and I want to give a very heartfelt thank you to all of them. Right-wing actions of the political leadership.
So it's just him reading it.
To our child tax credit.
Okay, no questions from press. Okay. I do feel for him, you know, because again, he does seem like a good guy. It's not so often when I am upset with Democrats, it is because of their willful incompetence or their malice, or their abstemiousness or whatever. I guess this is a kind of abstemiousness. For the most part, it's weakness, but it's authentic weakness. It's human weakness. It's not like, you know, them cuffing themselves because they've decided they don't care enough to fight.
Minnesota, longstanding members of the community, and the fraud goes back to the COVID time of federal money that was sent to the state of Minnesota. It was simply misused to the tune of the billions. So dozens have already been convicted. But again, the governor is taking direct aim at President Trump over this for politicizing this entire matter.
Well, good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year.
Can this be seen
like
as
many
Walz caving to the right-wing rhetoric? I mean, it's not just seen as, that's what it is. A right-wing disinfo campaign has stopped a popular governor's re-election campaign.
Minnesotans, I have to tell you, I was glad to turn the page on 2025.
Okay,
it was and on access brings me to this. 2026 is an election year. Election years have a way of ramping up opportunities. Help one will take that away from us. On my watch. Tomorrow, I'll be back with you.
Okay. Oh, CNN interviewed Nick Shirley.
The Trump administration says it is now withholding all federal child care from a
People are going to say this is a left or right issue.
I saw this guy, this godly man, wearing a Poly Market shirt on Twitter the other day. Like his Poly Market sought out a sponsorship. Just got a hoodie. It's a hoodie with Poly Market written on the front.
Fraud is fraud. Over here. And so I'm not out here trying to put a twist on things.
Shirley's viral video, released over the weekend, in which he says he's uncovering tens of millions of dollars in fraud at Minneapolis daycares run by the Somali community, was retweeted by Elon Musk and Vice President J.D. Vance. In the video, Shirley tries to open locked doors and talk to people at various daycares he claims are frauds.
Did you come during their normal operating hours when you came to visit?
I came at 11 a.m., I believe, and I also came the following day later in the day. The point of it is not whether or not I came at the right time of their operation hours.
No, I would say that arriving during the operating hours would be pretty important if the goal is to see if there are people in the building.
The point is that blacked out doors, they can't give you any information. You call that number, no one answers. I wasn't trying to go inside, and there should be a way for somebody to actually be able to call that number and somebody to be able to answer. These aren't real businesses.
But surely you don't think a daycare should just be unlocked. You shouldn't be able to just walk into a
There
daycare.
should be a reception.
No, every daycare is locked.
Their doors are locked.
And so, okay, you bring up a fair point. Then why can't they actually give me information how to enroll a child?
Federal law enforcement has been investigating fraud in Minnesota for several years. Both Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel said on social media they've indicted dozens of defendants. DHS has posted multiple videos of agents they say are conducting a massive fraud investigation.
Do you think that federal law enforcement hasn't done enough? I mean, they would say, look, these fraud cases have been going.
Yeah, man, that's so true. That's so real. Homeland Security, definitely the people that you would pull from in order to conduct a fraud investigation in the United States. Definitely not just brown shirt thugs we're sending here to capitalize on the popularity of this YouTube video.
On. But they've already done like 80 indictments. The cases have been going on, for years.
And why did I show up one day in Minnesota and go to all these daycares?
CNN reporter gave pushback. Well, it just shows that this scandal is so fake that even softball clarifying questions from CNN, of all places, this kid instantly folds. Did you show up during normal operating hours? No. Okay. Did you expect to be able to just walk into a daycare? Yeah, you should be able to do that. No, you shouldn't. Oh, okay. Yeah, well,
children, they're receiving millions of dollars. We uncovered nearly $110 million in fraud in one day.
How do you know that all the allegations that you're making are true?
How do I know that they're true? Well, we showed you guys what was happening, and then you guys can go ahead and make your own analysis.
We're coming.
How do you know what you're saying is true? You decide. Watch our YouTube video, like and subscribe, and you can decide.
So we can make our own analysis. Are you 100% sure you're true?
Yeah, I am 100% sure I'm true.
CNN is looking into Shirley's claims.
Hi, my name's Whitney Wild. I'm a correspondent for CNN.
We reached out to several of the daycares featured in the now viral video. Only one daycare facility answered and said they are a legitimate business.
Have you seen the videos, purporting that some of these daycares don't have kids inside?
Minnesota Republicans say despite the new focus from the Trump administration, they have been sounding the alarm on fraud for years.
It's been an open investigation for years, since the Biden admin. But the Biden admin issued actual lawsuits, and the Trump admin has not.
We have talked about fraud. We have gotten stories. We've tried to push this forward every way that we can.
At the daycare where Shirley showed back up, a stream of children walk inside.
You're saying that this is a fraudulent daycare. There's kids being dropped off right now.
Yes, the commissioner of children literally said a week ago this place was closed.
Did you know
They're
that?
showing face right now.
A viral video, disputed claims, and their full...
That's not a joke, by the way. He's actually made the claim that on Craigslist or whatever, they've put out ads for fake crisis actor children to be shown walking into and out of the daycares. That's not a joke.
Fallout remains to be seen.
Dozens of fraud cases that DOJ is touting began during the Biden administration. Back in 2022, the U.S. Attorney's Office for Minnesota announced 47 indictments for this massive fraud scheme. Since then, they've indicted more than 30 more people, and in total, they have secured at least 56 convictions. Whitney Wild, CNN, Minneapolis.
The group chat is back to talk about all of this right now.
And
Sarah, I want to go to you first. What do we know based on evidence about the alleged fraud in Minnesota and how legitimate and widespread it may be?
Well, I think a lot of people were very apt to believe Shirley's videos because we had indictments in 2022 when reporting first came out about this issue. It was David Fahrenthold, then at the Washington Post, who started to unravel all of these claims. The reason why I think Shirley's post has gone viral amongst some of the conservative community is because Minnesota is a politically convenient target, not just for the president, but for the party. Obviously, the governor there, Tim Walz, was the running mate to Kamala Harris in the 2024 election. Ilhan Omar has long been a foe of the president's. And you noted up top that the ICE immigration raids on Somalis has been a priority for the president. So all of this collectively has made this story something that people want to gravitate to. And in addition to that, previous reporting.
They can say everything but this is fake. Like they can lead you to the water, but they can't make you drink. They can ask him a brief clarifying question and he stammers his way through it. They can ask, do you think this is true? How do you know it's true? And he'll say, you decide. They can say, we investigated his claims and found that they were false, but they can't say this is a lie or like this is just political opportunism.
That uncovered widespread fraud in Minnesota.
14.
Anyway, yep, this shit just sunk Tim Walz's career. So cool, great. Yeah. Is there a good video or something debunking this BS? I mean, yeah, but it's one of those like the amount of energy that it takes to debunk a claim is much greater than what it takes to make a claim. The BS in question is literally just a 40-minute like Mr. Beast video. The Nick Shirley video that is the source of the misinformation is just like, I went here and did this. And then if you look into it, he provides no evidence and he didn't go there and he didn't do that. And the thing that he said that he did isn't what he actually did. And then the thing that he said that he did but didn't do would also have not worked. Like and on every level, it's all made up. There's basically what I'm saying is that the right has not presented any standard of evidence for their claims that should even meet your skepticism. Like, you should take these claims about as seriously as homeless people rambling. Man, look at the like to dislike on this one. CNN interviews Nick Shirley on his childcare fraud claims. No, you're supposed to just accept them uncritically. 21K comments. I mean, clearly it was brigaded, but like, yeah, this is where the hysteria is at the moment, or at least 5 days ago. The news cycle moves quickly.